I'm artist and filmmaker Aaron Cobbett.
I'm filmmaker Mike Lowther, and you're watching The Artists Forum.
Hi, and welcome to the Artists Forum. My name is Bill Coleman, and I'm here with panelists from the Artists Forum Festival of the Moving Image. I'm here with Mike Lowther and Aaron Cobbett, visual artists and auteurs, and we just watched a couple of their music videos, and we're going to talk to them today about the elements of style and how to make a music video with a budget. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Welcome here to the Artists Forum.
Thank you.
Happy to have you here. Before we talk about how you guys make music videos, why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourselves? Aaron?
Well, I started out as a photographer, and I had a phenomenal education in analog photography at NYU.
Nice.
And I had to switch over to digital, as did everybody else, 15 or so years into my career. And then video just sort of came along with the package, with the technology. It just started to come into my world, and I embraced it because I love music, and it just kind of went from there.
And you've also released books, and
Sure. Yeah.
you do costume design, you do a lot of...
I have 2 books out. I'm known for creating the photos from the ground up. That means actually sewing the costumes, creating the hair and makeup, building sets, you know, doing everything myself. So I'm kind of a one-man band.
Yeah.
And I've been able to get those skills just from being self-taught, and also a lot of the stuff I learned. My first job in New York was doing windows at Bergdorf Goodman.
Oh, nice.
So that was a great education, just because you're working within a frame, a store window. You have a figure, you have to pull in an element, an art element that sort of works with the figure, with the clothes. Mm-hmm. I learned all about fashion. I learned how to do wigs and makeup. So those skills that I was able to really use when I started doing music videos.
It's amazing. Thank you. Mike?
Oh, that's great. Love it. So I have more of a music background. I've played bass guitar for 15 years now, and viola for 3. And I think that's when I first started, was like middle school orchestra, where you're learning, it's basically learning another language. And I feel anything artistic is a new language to you, you know, and it's how you express it. I wanted to, there came a point where I just wasn't sure if you can make it as a rock star when you're like out of college. So it was okay, now I gotta pick something that I have to do. And I was really interested in video games. So I went and checked out the school for game design, and they had a film program. I was like, this looks pretty cool. This is something out of my element, but something that I feel like I'd be comfortable in. You get to work with people, you get to be on your feet. And I went in blindly, and I ended up falling in love with it. And it wasn't directing or anything like that. It was, I got attached to editing, and I feel it was blending computers and movies, 2 things I love very much. And then that's what I knew I was pretty good at.
Wow.
So I went from that, and then I moved to LA and New York, and been directing music videos and editing promos for TV ever since.
That's great. When you guys are tackling a music video and you know that it has a budgetary restraint, are there specific criteria that you, as an auteur or as an artist, look for in a project that says, yeah, I'm willing to do this. I know that the budget isn't high, but I feel like I can kind of tackle this or bring someone's vision to life? Is there some specific criteria that comes to mind?
Well, obviously, the starting point is the track. I mean, you have to be willing to listen to it 1,000 times or more. So you have to have good raw material to start with. Obviously, a music video starts with the music. So, I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to really love the track, and that's where your idea is going to come from, if you're the person picking the idea.
Do you ever find that you love a track and then you are in the process and then maybe the artist isn't someone that you want to kind of be around or listen to that often? Just asking.
Well, there are ups and downs in the creative process, as everybody knows, and sometimes you can, you end up having to have dialogue with the person, and there have been projects where I've said, just let me get through this without a huge drama happening, and usually I can make that happen.
Nice.
So.
Because I'm sure people often probably have very high expectations, especially when you're dealing with artists, even if they're spending $1 or if they're spending $1,000, they're putting kind of their art in your hands, so to speak. So
yeah, for something so low budget, I feel like you really have to love it because it becomes, you're a big part of it now because you're pulling your resources and it ends up becoming mostly your idea if that's the case.
In terms of resources, is there a production checklist, so to speak, that you guys have when tackling a particular project? I'm sure obviously it's case by case based on kind of narrative or kind of how you're set up, but is there kind of do each of you have like a basic kind of like, I have to have this in order to kind of move a project forward?
Well, it starts with the concept. So you get the song in your head. Usually what I do is I just put it on my iPod and go running.
No.
And then once the endorphins start to flow, I start to get pictures, kind of in my head, and I start to imagine things going along with the music, and then I just write everything down, and it's just sort of,
becomes part
a matter of like building a narrative or a non-narrative, just building a shot list, and then you start to have a checklist.
Yeah.
Like, okay, can we do this? Can we do that? Where can I get this? Where can I get that? Stuff like that.
Yeah, like Aaron said, it becomes like a part of your life for a short period of time, and you're listening to it when you're working out or in the shower or right before bed, and that's where your ideas start, coming in, and sometimes I'll take a break from listening to the track for a while, and then when I come back to it, I have all new ideas. I'm like, oh, this would be really cool around this part. Right.
Do you find when you're working on a project that does have a limited budget, how do you keep having many cooks in the kitchen so you can actually really stay within a budget or within, like we need to get this and done, but maybe there's a manager that's coming in and say they want this, or the artist really wants this, that. How do you kind of wrangle kind of folks in that sense?
There's never usually too many cooks in the kitchen in this scenario.
Okay, good.
You wish there were.
We're talking about limited resources, so yeah. Anybody, and normally in a really tight budget situation, anybody you're dealing with is someone who's invested in the project.
Right.
I mean, there's nobody around who's not invested in it.
Okay.
So usually it's just a couple of people, and they've invested really heavily in it.
And you find, in your experience, you find that people, obviously they trust your artistic vision, they give you free reign pretty much to kind of...
They do until it comes time to edit. Then
that's when you get your notes.
You end up getting a lot of vanity notes.
Okay.
I mean, I can go on, but maybe I shouldn't.
I hear you. And the both of you also do your own projects. Do you how do you get funding for your own solo endeavors? And you've made a short film before.
Yeah.
Was it just kind of like friends and family, or just like,
they tell you never make a film with your own money, and I don't know who's just going to give me money for something, if it's a passion project, I can't really sell it. Like, you know, there is, you know, leverage out there now for short form digital content, but at this point, I like making things on my own for whether it's practice or working with new cameras or new formats, and or like, hey, I have this idea, let's shoot it, let's do something cool. So I'll usually fund it myself, and then have, you know, close friends that I work with who, you know, have the camera or own it, or you know, just pull as many resources as I can, be like, hey guys, let's have some fun.
If there's, for example, many of the people who watch the Artist Forum, say there's a young auteur who's seeing you guys up here, and they have a friend who has a band, and they've been talking about doing a music video. Like, what would your kind of initial advice be to them, so they don't take on a project and it kind of run rampant and actually not get done? Because I've known friends that have actually tackled music videos that are still sitting in their computers. Is there advice that you would give to somebody to kind of avoid kind of the tail wagging the dog?
I think it's about going out and finding someone who will help you, you know, who's willing to help you produce it and put it together and take your ideas and get it done, you know.
I actually, I'm just going to contradict you.
No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Because I really think that if you want something done, you have to do it yourself. And if you're going to, you know, you can't write your letter to the world the first time out. You know what I mean? If you're doing it for the first time, just get a bunch of friends together, throw a party, and shoot it. Right. You know what I mean? Don't take it too seriously. Just try to have it be fun. Get plenty of booze flowing. People will show up, you know, and whatever, you know, just make it fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And that way, it'll at least get in the can.
Right. At least get some good footage. And if I'm a young artist, or I have a band, I have a new song, what's the best way to approach someone like yourself?
On your hands and knees.
Okay.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's all good.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're not. Yeah, I mean, what's the best way for a young artist, if they're watching this program, or they see one of your music videos, or one of your clips, or your film? They're like, oh my God, I love what you do. Like, I'd love to collaborate with you on something. What's going to make their pitch versus somebody else's pitch kind of stand out and be like, okay, I really should kind of check this out? Obviously, besides the song, I'm assuming, but I'm sure there's other things that you guys must look at.
Yeah, I think that if they have an idea, something very tangible and something that interests, us or, people, person making the project, I think that's really the selling point, or the track, or both.
Are you very collaborative in your process with an artist, or do you prefer someone to say, here, and I trust you, and...
It can work either way, I'll really only take something like that if I'm really, passionate about it, to devote that many hours of time and in pre-pro and then also in post. You want to make it the best you can possibly make it because it reflects you. And you want to be perceived, with content that you enjoy making and also is enjoyable.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you one more question, because you work in East Coast and West Coast.
Yes.
So is there a difference in how you approach projects? I don't know if people are different, or artists are different.
I've always felt LA to be a more collaborative environment when wanting to go out and shoot stuff. Out here, I don't know if it's the weather or the city, but I've always had this really good just connection to LA because of people always wanting to get out and do stuff. It might be because it's a very saturated city with artists and filmmakers, but that kind of gives you more leverage to be like, hey, you want to go shoot something this weekend? And then, okay, let's do it.
Nice. Are there artists that you haven't worked with that you would love to work with? Just I'm pulling the wish list. Like, if you were able to shoot a video tomorrow, like who gives you that rush visually and musically that would be like, I could totally nail this?
Bill, you're putting me on a spot.
I am.
And there's so many artists that I would love to work with. I mean, I've always wanted to work with Dita Von Teese.
Who's
I
amazing.
think she and I's style would really complement each other.
I totally see
And
that.
Amanda Lepore, of course, I've always wanted to, well, I have worked with her, but I'd love to do a video with her. And there's so much great disco coming out of France right now. Some of those artists over there, those European producers now are
It's great.
phenomenal,
Yeah.
phenomenal. So
Nice. What about you?
Actually, well, the video that's in this festival, that's band 100,000. I found them somewhere, you know, Spotify and similar artists. Like you'll just hop and find new finds, and I found this band. They were just a local band, and I fell in love with the music, and they are based out of Jersey. So I went out and saw some shows, and I literally went up to them and I said, "Hey, can I do a video for you guys?"
That's amazing.
And they're like, "Yeah, but we don't have any money." I said, "Don't worry about it. Let's do this."
yeah, that's the way to do it.
And it was just,
great.
I love the song. I love everything that they've put out, and they were just such great guys to work with. I can't say enough great things, and they were super appreciative, of course, but we ended up all putting heads together and making this thing happen.
That's great. So it's a passion project.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So, I mean, that would be advice for perhaps someone who's thinking of doing this or following in your footsteps is find a band that you really like or
I've
music
done
that
it
you really
too.
love.
Exactly
Yeah.
the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you want to make something,
If there's any advice that you would give, again, to a new auteur coming up regarding kind of equipment or tech, is there anything, any base that folks need to? I'm not a tech head, so school me on what do you need, just at least to get started? If you were just going to put a sheet up and film me right here, like, are there some base things that like a new video director would need that you, particularly if you're doing something music-wise? I'm sure there must be some editing programs or.
My philosophy is, as long as you get from point A to point B, it does not matter how you get there. You can use whatever is clever, whatever works, whatever you can get your hands on. I mean, personally, I have a 5D Mark III, which is, a lot of people look down on that camera, but I think it's fabulous and I love it. And I guess, I was editing with Final Cut for many years, but I guess now Final Cut is going away, kind of, so they say. So I just begrudgingly started working in Premiere.
Yeah, that's where I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then DaVinci, have you used DaVinci?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm self-taught. I mean, I didn't receive any education with video.
Well, you have
I
a
just
photography
picked it up.
background.
Yeah.
So color is also your thing too.
Yeah. So I know how to work within a frame and how to tell a story, but the editing is always an adventure. I recently had I hired a kid to help me with my latest video, and he had an A7S, a Sony A7S. And the big thing about that camera is that it can shoot in really low light, and the ASA could go up to like 64 million or something. So he's racking it up, and the footage looks like crap. It's like, oh my God, I had to buy Neat Video. So yeah, you learn something every single time, and maybe that makes up for not being able to take away a lot of money is you're always learning.
Yeah.
Every project is a learning experience.
Nice.
Absolutely. I'm a tech guy, so I have more of a post guy, if anything, and I think with this digital realm with 4K, 5K, 6K, and above now, I think in post that gives you a lot of leverage. You're easily able to manipulate the shot. If you wanted to push in, you're not gonna, your final image isn't gonna be destroyed. But like Aaron said, it really depends. It's getting from A to B. Making your image look the way you want, and if you can do it in camera, that's the best route you can go, especially on a budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
On a budget, yeah.
And any final thoughts that you would want to give to any of our viewers out there regarding making a music video with a budget
I think learning is key. I think studying. I mean, you don't have to go to film school to be a filmmaker.
Right.
But there's so many resources online, and so many programs that you can learn. You can learn how to use a camera online. You can learn how to use any editing program online. You can print out a shot list template. Everything is there. So I strongly believe in people having dual roles. But if you want to be a director, also do this. Always be a director, and
Right.
You can direct, and then you can also do wardrobe, and you become the whole circle of the project in some ways. But I always feel like having two roles will give you a better insight on wrapping a final project.
And just making the craft better for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
So learning any crazy filming music video experiences that you guys have had that you can shot from a helicopter or something. What would have been the kind of crazy? Is just saying anything fun and crazy that what's the weirdest or oddest place that you guys have shot a music video?
Well, I remember I had my studio all set up, stage built, everything, runway, back, stage, chairs, everything all built. And I came the morning of the shoot, first person there, and the door to the studio had been broken down by the fire department, and there's been a fire the night before the video shoot.
That's brutal.
Yeah, so I was basically crying and trying to patch my set back together, and people were showing up, and we made it happen.
That's brutal.
It
That's brutal.
was, just one of those disasters.
Nice. Sweet.
Well,
Any crazy stories?
Never wire anybody money.
Good one.
Probably the best advice I can give.
Receipt.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I don't know, as far as, no, I mean, you use your resources, if you're trying to find a shot or get something. I've shot at studios, and I've shot in my aunt's backyard, and you get great results. You find the place that you like, and you make the best of it.
Use your resources.
Absolutely.
Learn.
Yep.
It's a constant learning process, I'm sure, at all times. I mean, most art forms are. So I think that's all we have for tonight. And please join us at the film festival, which happens on July 6th and 7th here in New York. This is Bill Coleman for the Artists Forum, and good night.
Hi, I'm Haley Chancellor, a volunteer with the Artists Forum.
And I'm Elliot Torres, host of the Artists Forum's television program, AFTV. We're here on set to tell you about our latest endeavor, the Artists Forum Festival of the Moving Image.
This new film festival is a major endeavor for the Artists Forum, one we believe will greatly impact both underserved artists and the New York City arts community as a whole.
The Artists Forum Festival of the Moving Image is a competitive program open worldwide to filmmakers of all levels, seeking to gain exposure in New York City's international market. With your help, this film festival will be a great platform to invigorate our city's cultural scene.
Live screenings of the top entries will be showcased this spring at a theater in New York City, followed by a panel discussion, Q&As, and many other fun-filled surprises leading up to our after-party and award ceremony.
While the Artists Forum strives to be financially independent, we need your help to make our inaugural film festival a terrific success.
Recognition for your generosity will be acknowledged in a variety of ways. In return for your support, we are offering numerous perks and public acknowledgement of your generosity.
Since we are a 501c3, your donations are fully tax deductible. Please help us continue our support of independent filmmakers by making a donation to fund the Artists Forum Festival of the Moving Image. And please consider also sharing your support with others by encouraging friends, family, and your social media networks to donate as well.
On behalf of everyone at the Artists Forum, we'd like to thank you for your support.
We look forward to having you join us in discovering the latest in unique and innovative filmmaking this spring at our festival in New York City. The Artist Forum. Get connected, be heard. The Artist Forum is a place where artists of all disciplines can network, collaborate, and showcase their work. You want to know when to catch us? Well, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, or sign up for our newsletter. You can also see us live on the web via Manhattan Neighborhood Network's MNN.org. On the Artist Forum, you'll see interviews with New York City's emerging talents in theater, dance, music, the visual arts, as well as the written word. We'll jump the velvet rope to get interviews with the entertainment industry's top insiders, as well as some of its underground talents. Expose yourself to the Artist Forum. Show us your work. Invite us to your performance. Do you have questions about the business? Do you need help better focusing on your career? Or maybe you just want to post information about an upcoming project? Well, log on to our website, theartistsforum.org. The Artist Forum, on the pulse of community activities and events. I'm Elliot Torres, and I'll see you on the Artist Forum.